I don't think we've ever stopped to wonder how did the @ sign come about, or how did the why does addition mean plus, why does subtraction mean minus, what's the story behind this, what's the history behind this, and that is basically what I wanted to explore through this episode. The origin of these mathematical and otherwise ubiquitous symbols. We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
Oh, we are back. Way.
इससे स्टार्ट करूंगा. पहला कट ये होगा गाना बजने के बाद. Oh, we are back. ओए.
ये बहुत मस्त होगा. Actually, Prakhar sounds really serious on the podcast, at least from what I've heard.
Yeah.
But it is so opposite of who you are in
Thanks.
person.
Thanks.
So it's really like disconcerting to me to hear you.
Also, the couple of feedbacks that I have received is that you are involved very less to their liking. You need to get involved more.
Okay,
that was-
बीच में मैं कुछ बोलता रहूँगा. You are what you're listening to. Don't know, do care. Okay.
नहीं,
Sandy,
ये
please
ऐसा
continue.
involvement
ऐसा
नहीं.
नहीं.
Also,
Sensible involvement.
but those two episodes were the first two episodes
Yeah,
where
yeah,
Prakhar was still getting into the groove of talking.
Yeah, I agree.
So, which is also Prakhar personified. Prakhar takes like not Prakhar personified. Prakhar is personified. Like Prakhar's personality. Like he takes a little while to open up, to start talking, and then once he does, then you're like, fuck, why did he start?
I don't feel that way, Prakhar. Just
you.
FYI.
Now, Prakhar, tell us about your life.
Life's great. I love the weather right now in Delhi because it's raining. It's the
So
monsoon
British, no?
season.
So
And,
British. Tell us about your life. Starts with weather.
I mean, that's pretty much everyone, no?
We've had the
British,
best air quality, like I think day before yesterday and maybe yesterday in the past 3 years.
Yeah. I think it was
It's come down to
56,
double digit, by
57.
the way.
Yeah.
So I'm loving the weather. I really like the cloud formation. Like since my childhood, I love to, just
What?
I mean, look at the clouds, the cloud shapes.
Why did you say it so weirdly?
I didn't say it weirdly.
I love
Did
I love cloud formation since childhood.
Prakhar is like that guy from Swades who used to look at clouds and say, "Aaj barish hone wali hai."
आज हो सकती है बारिश. No, but
he's
yeah.
that guy. He's the weatherman. Yeah. Okay, I just want to start off with this. Do either of you know or remember, in fact, we definitely know, what the full form of BODMAS is?
Yeah.
Yes. BODMAS. Okay, wait.
Bracket
Brackets.
of
नहीं,
division.
Off नहीं है. Brackets something else. Division, multiplication, addition, subtraction.
Yeah.
What is O?
O is order. So order means any sort of arithmetic function like a square root or exponential, something like that.
Yeah.
So BODMAS,
Yeah.
right? So we won't be talking about BODMAS today.
Amazing, Sandy.
I just wanted to bring it up just for the fuck of it.
What nonsense.
Awesome. So yeah, but what I did want to talk about, this was my train of thought as well. So I was randomly thinking about BODMAS one day, and that led me to the mathematical symbols. A lot of mathematical symbols and just symbols in general.
What kind of a person randomly thinks of BODMAS?
You cannot judge anyone on the train of thought, Ashmita. You are literally the last person who should be doing that. Okay? So yeah. So, well, I mean, you see these things on your keyboard every day. You probably use them on a pretty much regular basis while typing out anything. Especially while you're logging in anywhere, your symbols, your passwords, your messages, your login IDs. But I don't think we've ever stopped to wonder how did the @ sign come about, or how did why does addition mean plus, why does subtraction mean minus, what's the story behind this, what's the history behind this, and that is basically what I wanted to explore through this episode. The origin of these mathematical and otherwise ubiquitous symbols. You know, just a few of them, not all of them, because we won't have the time. But just even though it might seem that some of these symbols were just invented on a whim, but that is not the case. A lot of these, they had very practical purposes, which later came into the lexicon as we come to know of them now. By practicality, I also mean some were even an amalgamation or a shorthand version of some words or some symbols that were used previously.
Okay.
Right? So we'll start off with the most basic one of all, the plus sign.
Yeah.
Which I can definitely confirm is the second least important part of BODMAS.
Yes.
Yes, you both can agree.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So the plus sign is sort of feels intuitive now. It's almost second nature to us now. Obviously, plus means addition. But it wasn't always that way. You know, ancient civilizations like the Egyptians and Babylonians had rich mathematical systems, but they didn't use any symbol akin to the plus sign that we know of today. So even the Greeks, they used alphabets and various alphabetical characters to represent formulations that wherein we utilize the plus sign nowadays. So the first known printed appearance of the plus sign comes from a book in 1489, 15th century, in a book called Mercantile Arithmetic by German mathematician Johannes Widman. So how he started off using this was he used to denote plus for anything which was a surplus of commodities. So mercantile arithmetic.
Yeah.
So he was a merchant / mathematician, if that makes sense, because people had to multitask at the point of time.
And now we don't.
Yeah, but at that point of time, there was not a specific different profession called a mathematician and a specific different profession called a merchant. No, everyone had to do everything because people didn't know shit. I'm sorry, that's wrong. People knew shit. They knew shit. They knew a lot of shit.
That was so random.
We started with rich culture and rich knowledge, and then suddenly they don't
people
know
don't know
nothing.
So yeah. So the plus sign was used more on a commercial basis rather than a arithmetic or mathematical basis. So it entered the algebra and the mainstream mathematics at a much later date. It was initially used to denote. So I have like 5 bags of flour plus, which means I have additional 5 bags of flour. So, but why a cross though? Like of all the things, why a cross? One theory suggests that it evolved from the Latin word et. So we use et al, et.
Yeah.
Right? So in Latin, et al means and.
Yeah.
And. So one school of thought suggests that it's sort of a very shorthand for et. If you write et, it sort of molds into a plus sign.
That's not true.
No, it is.
No.
It is. So medieval scribes, they had so much literature to write on papyrus that they just used to use shorthand. Et al. It sort of merged into a plus sign. That's one school of thought.
Okay.
It's not necessarily true. It's a school of thought. It's a theory.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you don't have to believe it.
Yeah.
Another school of thought is that it was independently created for its clarity and ease of writing. 2 intersecting strokes, quickly made and easily distinguished. Because that was not a sign which was often used at that point of time. So they thought, yes, this makes sense. Let's just start using this. So over the next few centuries, as printing spread across Europe and books on arithmetic became more and more widespread and commonplace, the symbol found its way into the academic and educational texts. By the 17th century, it was firmly established in mathematical literature.
But I don't know, कुछ related नहीं हो सकता है, but जैसे कहीं पे medically भी plus use होता है, उसका कुछ वहाँ पे कुछ कोई relation है?
No correlation.
No correlation. So why do we use plus वहाँ पे?
Who knows that?
Maybe we'll do a separate episode on that.
Somebody needs to find out, no?
नहीं ठीक है ना, बढ़िया है, थोड़ा मसाला आएगा.
So next, the natural progression is the minus sign.
Yeah.
Which I can again confirm is the least important part of BODMAS.
Oh my God, Sandy. It's not funny anymore. It wasn't even in the beginning.
Says you, the least funny person in the room.
Okay, I agree with that. I am the least funny person in this room. Wait. sorry, side note. You know, when I was going for my MBA, I went there and we were talking about something, Sandy and I said that he keeps calling me unfunny, right? And I said, I am actually really funny. My classmates agree, right? They laugh at my jokes. And Sandy's like, you're only funny in a business school.
I didn't remember that. That is funny.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Okay, now we're at the minus sign.
Yeah.
So the minus sign also shares its printed debut with the plus sign, appearing in Widman's 1489 text, Mercantile Arithmetic. It was used to indicate, guess what?
A deficit.
A deficit in the number of commodities. The symbol's horizontal form has practical origins. In medieval shorthand and Latin manuscripts, a simple overbar. Overbar is basically what it's sort of akin to an umlaut. It's not an umlaut, but you know, certain letters have, for emphasis, they put a dash
overbar.
over it.
I think everybody knows an overbar. Overbar.
I mean,
a
for
bar
people
over
who-
a letter is an
For
overbar.
people who don't know,
Okay, yes.
you know,
Yes,
we need
yes.
to include everyone.
An overbar, as the name suggests, is a bar over a letter or a number or whatever. A letter, most
Don't
likely.
be condescending to the idiots, Ashmita.
Wow, Sandy. Go ahead.
It was used to indicate omitted letters or missing content. So this was also used in certain texts and manuscripts of that time. So while editing, if someone noticed something was omitted or was missing, they used to sort of put a dash over it to indicate that some context is missing from here. So that later was picked up by Widman, and he utilized that to indicate deficit, right? So merchants and scribes found it useful to adapt this into their bookkeeping practices. A single horizontal line meant something was being taken away,
Yeah.
right? So obviously it's clean. It's clean and straight form gave it staying power. Unlike the plus sign was quote unquote controversial for a very long time.
Controversial.
That's why I said quote unquote.
People really had nothing to do at that point of time.
Yes, they wanted something to fight about.
Fair.
Plus sign.
So unlike the plus sign, which had various contenders for the job, the minus sign's simplicity helped it avoid competition. Everyone was
Wow.
like, okay, fine. This looks fine to us. Let's just
This
go
is
ahead.
so
with it."
funny.
It was very hard to misread. You had to literally go out of your way to misinterpret it. You know.
I can't believe I am still stuck on the fact that plus sign had contenders. Like,
Was temple.
Yes, everyone wanted their thing to be known as the thing, right? Dude,
wild.
Newton made an entire living out of this. ठीक है.
That is true.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine
Yeah.
if some other people are fighting for it.
Yeah, fair.
At least other people were taking credit where it was due. Newton was like, fuck you, I'll take your credit also. ठीक है, so it's fine.
That was a lot of the Western inventors.
Yeah, that is true. Edison also, by the way.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too long before the minus sign found a permanent home in algebra and arithmetic, where it remains unchanged to this day. It literally is the OG minimalist design. It was so minimalistic that people had no issues with it. They were like,
Yeah.
dash, fine.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
sold.
Yeah. Fair.
You know. So I just have, obviously we'll be sharing this later, but I just wanted to showcase from the original manuscript, the plus and minus signs showing the surplus and deficit of commodities.
Which language was this?
This was German.
This is German.
This is Cyrillic, which was a German precursor to the German script.
Ah,
This was in 15th century.
okay.
Then we move on to the equal sign. Do you want me to mention BODMAS? No?
No.
Of course not.
Well, there is no point in mentioning it because it's not a part of the BODMAS. Yeah, so talking about the humble equal sign, it's very obvious now. Two lines which are sort of equal, they're parallel, they never
Yeah.
intersect. But someone had to invent it at some point of time. That someone was Robert Record, for the record.
Yeah.
He was a Welsh mathematician who introduced it in 1557 in his book The Whetstone of Wit.
what?
The whetstone of wit.
Of wit. Okay.
Wit.
The wit is spelled as WITTE. I don't know what that means. It must be something, but that's what it's called. But I know what a whetstone is.
Okay.
A whetstone is used to sharpen knives. Anyway, he was tired of writing the phrase is equal to over and over again. That's literally.
That is very fair.
That is
not-
fair. I buy that. I am still wondering why we still had to write hence proved after every LHS equal to RHS.
Yes.
Why didn't we just come up with some symbol for that? Anyway.
Equal to was it.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
But okay. Huh.
Yeah, so basically he was just fucking tired of writing is equal to. And he just said fuck this. And he thought nothing is more equal to two equidistant lines which never intersect and are of the same size. So then that's why that is equal to the equal to sign.
Well done.
Hence
Sandy.
In his own words, and I quote, to avoid the tedious repetition of these words is equal to, I will set, as I do often in work, a pair of parallels, because no two things can be more equal.
Wow.
So poetic, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, people used to write like that around that time anyway. So yeah, his version was longer and more like a modern M dash. The kind that ChatGPT gets horny on. that kind. His was much longer. I'll show you a version of that in a bit. But eventually people were like, fuck this, we'll just make it shorter and quicker, and they just basically cut that down into half and used shorter dashes.
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
Over the following century, other prominent mathematicians, including, obviously we don't know this one, John Wallace, never heard of him, but I've heard of the other one, Isaac Newton. Yes, that asshole again. Began adopting and refining the equal sign. It eventually became the standard symbol for equivalence in mathematics. What's interesting is that record's equal sign wasn't based on any ancient precedent. It was a wholly original idea, driven by a need for brevity and clarity in written calculations.
Yeah, which is...
Which
I think that is totally valid.
that is the most logical reasoning
Yes.
to invent a sign, if ever there was one. It was just practicality above anything else.
Yes. Very fair.
The first version of the equal to sign, you can see how
Okay, that's a
fucking...
long ass equal to sign, man. That's like 6 equal to signs together.
Yes. So people were like, I think one of this is enough.
Yeah.
We don't need
इससे
about...
अच्छा तो equal to ही लिख लेता यार पूरा.
I know.
No, but this is still like, you just draw like 2 lines. That's still fine. Writing is equal to over and over is just a pain in the ass. Now we move to the sexiest of them all.
Sexiest.
The ampersand. Well, it is...
Sure. If that is what you consider sexy, by all means. I've never found particularly any sex appeal in ampersand, but sure. To each his own, Sandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you said. The ampersand might be and this is again what the source from where I got this quoting. The ampersand might be the most beautiful symbol on the...
Beautiful.
So weird. Who the fuck wrote it?
Who cares?
It is beautiful.
What do you mean it's your source?
It's a looping, almost calligraphic. It is calligraphic though. You can't deny the fact.
Yeah.
It is pretty calligraphic when it comes to that. Actually, its origins can be traced back to 1st century CE or AD as we know it, as a ligature of the Latin word again et.
Okay.
So if you, again, this goes back to the scribes trying to find a shorthand for writing et. So if you again try and just figure out et over and over, if you quickly write it, it sort of merges into an ampersand sort of shape.
Sure. I'm not being skeptical of what you are saying. I'm just saying et over and over again becomes ampersand is something I can't see, but if people found it, then okay, I don't need to see it.
So Roman scribes were looking for ways to speed up writing, especially when working with repetitive legal or administrative documents. Over time, the letters E and T were joined in a flowing motion, gradually forming what we now recognize as an ampersand.
How did the name come about?
So the actual name ampersand came almost 1500 years after the symbol was invented.
Oh.
How it came about is ampersand was at some point of time in the 17th century, it was made a part of the alphabet. So it used to come after Z or Z for all our American listeners.
There's not a single American listener.
Yeah, no. Our analytics say otherwise. We have 2 listeners in America.
That is Indians
Yes,
who
I
are there
know.
in US.
I know.
And they are your friends.
Yes. Yeah, the name ampersand is a linguistic accident from the 1800s. So when it was added to the alphabet at the end, it was after X, Y, Z and ampersand, right? But when it was added to the alphabet at the end, school children who didn't know how to say shit, while reciting the alphabet, used to say X, Y, Z and per se and. So which basically means what they meant by X, Y, Z and per se and was X, Y, Z and by itself and.
Yeah.
That's what and per se means. So that and per se and sort of mushed together into ampersand.
Okay.
And imagine a toddler saying and per se and.
Yeah. Like LMNOP.
LMNOP.
How do children say it?
LMNOPQ.
How does
LMNOPQ.
But how do children say it?
LMNOPQ.
They say it in a certain way. Lemonopop. Elomeno. Yeah, that's like that only. That was such a struggle for me. My God.
Even
Not that you
struggle.
do help.
We don't need to go back to toddlers anyway now.
True.
You said it. Anyway, beyond its linguistic role, the ampersand has been embraced by designers in various logo types and visual artists for its graceful versatility and curves. It's one of the rare punctuation marks that bridges text and design. I think that's the only one I can genuinely think of which sort of bridges the gap between text and design. Nothing else springs to mind off the top of my head. I'm sure there must be more, but
Okay. It's so funny when you go back and see the origins of all of these things, not just like symbols, but even like complex theories and
Yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
You know, there were so many of them were just accidents. They were
Yes,
just,
yes.
they were just people just stumbled upon them and we just accepted it. So much of philosophy is like that. Like,
literally half the vaccinations as we know it were accidents.
yeah. But at least they were trying something. You know, there was a scientific like process and it led to something else. But philosophy was just a man sitting naked and I don't know, naked or not, but just like randomly
Well, let's keep him
thinking.
naked, no? What's the harm?
Randomly thinking of shit and confidently saying, yes, this is now it.
Now, next in line is the @ sign. We utilize this literally every single day, yet none of us know the origins of it. The @ sign is the most famous today for anchoring email addresses, but it has a history that stretches back hundreds of years. Imagine @ sign was used hundreds of years ago.
Yes,
For
for
what?
cost things, no?
Yes, in a way, yes. The earliest recorded use appears in a 14th century Bulgarian manuscript. 14th century. It was a shorthand for the Latin preposition ad, meaning to or at,
Okay.
right? It was likely used by scribes in monastic settings to conserve space and speed up writing. Almost all of these were invented to speed up writing in some way.
Yeah.
Practicality
Makes
above
sense.
everything else,
Yeah.
which makes a lot of sense. By the 16th century, Italian and Spanish merchants used the symbol to mean @ of.
Yeah.
Again, mercantile.
Yeah. While I was studying accounting and all, over there also we used to, at was always used
Yeah.
to.
But it was used for accounting by merchants.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was used as far as like 15th, 16th century.
Yeah.
You know, it's very long time ago.
I studied accounting much later than 15.
That's why
Yeah.
I wanted to focus on that. Emphasize on 15th and 16th century. A notable example is a 1536 letter from Florentine trader Francesco Lapi, where he uses @ to indicate unit prices for goods. It was essentially a commercial shorthand, you know. Despite its practicality, the symbol remained relatively obscure up until 1971, when computer engineer Ray Tomlinson needed to solve a problem he had encountered. What was the problem though? He was developing a way to send messages between computers, right? And he needed a separator between the username and the host machine.
Okay.
And he was thinking, what would be the least utilized symbol or letter on this keyboard that I have? It turned out it was the @ button. Because literally no one was using it anywhere.
Except accountants. They have always used it.
Yeah, but accountants.
Nobody gives a fuck about
No,
it.
but उस टाइम पे अगर कीबोर्ड पे अगर साइन था लेट्स से तो किस चीज के लिए यूज हो रहा था बिफोर ईमेल्स
It wasn't being used. No, it was the least utilized button on the keyboard.
Why was it there?
Accounting.
What was the
For
purpose?
accounting. Because
I keep repeating this.
typewriters जो भी थे, the laptop is the modern version of a typewriter only,
Yeah,
right? And even
yeah.
typewriters had most of these buttons. So @ was a part of it, which was utilized by accountants and merchants. But apart from those very niche use cases, nobody else was using the @ button at all.
बट आजकल अकाउंटिंग में यूज नहीं होता ना
I'm
या
sure it
होता है?
must be
Use
used.
होता है, I'm
होता
sure,
है.
because I studied accounting while I was what must have been 2007-8 I graduated from
Yeah, yeah.
school, so that's when I started studying accounting, and at that time we used to use it, and internet was pretty widely available by then, so I'm sure it is still being used.
I mean, obviously, @ is more renowned for utilization in email addresses now. That's been the case
Again,
since the
that's
70s.
because nobody
but-
gives a fuck about
Exactly.
accounting.
Yeah. Yeah, but @ is a very quiet little relic of mercantile history, and it became a very integral part of digital communications as we know it now. This is just one aspect of it, but there are more. This is the Bulgarian 15th century Bulgarian text.
What a pretty this thing, no? It
ज़्यादा
looks so
चेंज
pretty.
नहीं हुआ मतलब
It's pretty much the same.
pretty
I mean,
much the same.
what can possibly change an @ no?
इक्वल टू देखा था आपने
a lot could be changed in that case.
yes
Moving on, the next is the asterisk. Some people refer to it as the asshole of symbols.
asshole of what
Which people?
No, it is used to represent asshole.
Excuse me?
Yes. The asterisk. It looks like an anus, no?
Fine, if you say so.
मैंने से पहले कभी नहीं सोचा था ऐसा
I have never heard of this.
Yeah.
Ever.
What?
Prakhar is finding
देख रहा हूँ कि कैसा लगता है कि नहीं
अबे asterisk नहीं देखा क्या?
देखा है मैं सामने विजुअलाइज करना चाहता हूँ बट नहीं लग रहा है ऐसा
So the asterisk is a 6-pointed or 5-pointed star. It is everywhere. It signals footnotes, multiplication, corrections, and even profanity. But it started as a tool for scholarly editing. So its name comes from the Greek asteriskos, meaning little star.
If you say
So
so.
ancient Greek scholars used it in the margins of Homeric poetry. What is Homeric poetry? It's the style of poetry used by Homer. For those of us
Wow,
who don't
okay.
know. That is literally the definition of Homeric poetry. To mark, duplicate, or suspect lines. I mean, it was basically used for editing.
Okay.
So wherever some editor used to indicate that some correction needs to be made, so in the margins they would just utilize an asterisk over there saying that
सेम
something needs to be reworked.
आज
over
भी हम
here.
लोग आई थिंक वी यूज दैट वी डू दैट
No, today we directly edit.
Yeah.
What are you
बट लाइक इफ आई हैव
talking
टू
about?
टेल समवन या बताने के लिए मार्क करने के लिए we still
Possible.
use it.
Yeah, we can still use that. Yes.
Okay, fair.
So in medieval texts, the asterisk began to serve multiple purposes, indicating omitted text, referencing annotations, or connecting readers to marginal notes. With the invention of the printing press, it became a standard tool for marking footnotes.
Yeah.
It's almost unanimous with
Yeah,
footnotes
yeah.
now. Later, mathematicians adopted it as a multiplication symbol, especially when the X sign was considered to be ambiguous, which I sort of understand.
Yeah.
Because every single mathematical equation wants you to find X, and then you're utilizing X in the middle of
Yeah.
the equation also, which sort of became a bit problematic
Yeah.
at a point of time.
Yeah.
So people were like, just fuck X and we'll start utilizing asterisk for multiplication. Programmers and computer scientists adopted it to denote wildcard characters or to express repetition. Its universal appeal lies in its clarity, as it's small, distinct, and attention-grabbing without being intrusive. Now, natural progression to the multiplication sign. People here are not very receptive to my Bodmas jokes, so I'll refrain from that.
Good call.
We have some very, very mean people here. The multiplication sign, or X, was introduced in 1631 by William Oughtred, an English mathematician. He chose the symbol because it was clear, compact, and not already associated with any other mathematical operation in use at the time. However, The decision was not universally accepted. German philosopher and mathematician Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz opposed the use of X because of its similarity to the letter X. We've already gone over this.
Which is a very fair problem to
Yeah.
have.
Yes. He preferred the centered dot. I don't know if you guys remember, we also used to use dot for multiplication during our equations in school.
I did not.
I very
have
distinctly
not.
remember this.
No, I have not.
So we used to utilize dots, which eventually became the standard in more formal mathematics, particularly when working with variables. So even now, dots are used instead of the X.
Yes, X dot Y. I
Yes,
remembered.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So the symbol itself is called a saltire, a diagonal cross often seen in heraldry. Heraldry is the study of history of old and important families, or coat of arms and stuff like that,
Okay.
family symbols. It was already in typographic use, which made it familiar to printers and readers alike.
Yes.
In contemporary use, X is still widely used in elementary education and general writing, while algebraic and programming contexts lean towards alternative notation. I'll go back to the dots or the asterisks in this regard. Now we'll move on to the division sign. The division symbol is also known as the obelus. So the sign that you know as division, the division symbol, it is called obelus. It has a very fascinating past. The symbol itself dates back to ancient times and was originally used in Greek and Latin manuscripts to indicate dubious or questionable passages. Just imagine hypothetically if that was being done in today's internet age, in social media. Like the whole internet will be full
Just
of
division
obelisk.
signs.
Just division signs
Yeah.
all over the place. Its mathematical usage began in 1659 when Swiss mathematician Johann Rahn introduced it in his algebra book. He chose the obelisk for division likely because it was already in typographic lexicon, and its layout, a line with a dot above and below, provided visual symmetry that worked well in print.
Yeah.
So it was done for style more than anything.
Yeah. It came from the OG reader's note of Twitter's.
Yeah.
Twitter, not Twitter's. Jesus.
However, much like the multiplication sign, the obelisk was not universally adopted. Many European mathematicians and texts prefer a slash or colon to indicate division.
Colon we have never used, no?
No, but
we
slash
use
definitely
very
we-
Slash we have,
commonly.
yes.
In higher level mathematics, the fraction bar or forward slash is more common due to its adaptability in complex equations. Still, the obelisk remains a mainstay in elementary math and continues to serve as a helpful symbol for learners. I mean, it's just easier, I guess. There is no other
Yeah,
reason.
in calculators we still have the obelisk, but in Excel, for example,
Yeah.
we use
You have to
that.
use the slash.
Slash.
I mean, I also had the option. I was also thinking of adding a couple of things about the brackets and shit, but who gives a shit about brackets, man?
But isn't it the most important part of podcast?
Yes.
Basically, you got bored and did not want
Yes.
to find anything else.
No, I genuinely thought that this would be way too much information already, and I didn't want to overload. I mean, I just covered the very basic symbols that we utilize on a daily basis. If this is well received, we can do another version of this wherein we can go into the history of many more symbols. By well received, I mean just one email saying, I love that episode about the mathematical symbols. And immediately I'll be working on the next episode.
Okay, fair.
So
Fair.
in
So
this
listeners,
hypothetical situation,
whoever
that's
likes
what I'm
this,
referring to.
please email at
Don't know, do care 1, numerical 1 at gmail.com.
I think एक नई बना लेनी चाहिए point के
Why
बाद.
though?
No, it's fine.
It's fine. There's no scene. Don't know.
Because you gave the recommendation in my episode, I will give the recommendation in your episode.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. And because I had not prepared any recommendation whatsoever, and Prakhar gave me the idea last episode. So my recommendation is the show Resident Alien, because it is just it's legitimately, very seriously, one of the most well-made shows I have
I agree.
Yeah.
I
ever
agree.
seen. It is so it has a very nice balance between being completely ridiculous, absolutely like nonsensical ridiculous, but also dark and like dry.
Even the drama is very well written. Even the drama is pretty good.
Yeah,
in
it's
that.
a fantastic balance between drama and comedy. And I absolutely love it. It's really, really well done. And Alan Tudyk is.
And this gives me the opportunity to wax lyrical about Alan Tudyk. I've been one of his biggest fans for quite some time now, since his Firefly days. For those of you who remember, but yeah, man, this reminds me. Alan Tudyk just got nominated for an Emmy for his role in Andor, the Star Wars spin-off. And guess what he plays over there?
Which one?
He plays a robot.
Of course. Of course. He plays a robot in Superman also.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dude, he does all these wacky ass characters and somehow he never looks out of place while doing all of these things.
Exceptionally pulled off. I mean, the robot was one of the best characters in the entire movie. Absolutely fantastically done.
Alan Tudyk is a genius.
Yeah.
I won't hear otherwise. And he is exceptional in his role as Dr. Harry Van der Spiegel in
Resident Alien.
Highly recommend.
Anyway, watch Resident Alien. That's the recommendation of
And
the
let me just
show.
quickly remind you again, please write to us at don'tknowdocare1@gmail.com. And on that note, we'll be signing off.